Reports about crimes committed by someone high on meth are almost a daily occurrence.
Meth lab busts used to happen just as often, but not lately. So where have they all gone? Tim Iestis has tonight's special assignment.
If you've ever seen the Albuquerque-based TV show Breaking Bad, you might think New Mexico is a hotbed for making meth. But ask state and local cops, and you'll hear the opposite.
The manufacturing of methamphetamine is on the decline.
We did see the numbers go down.
When is the last time the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department busted a meth lab?
We haven't had a true meth lab in at least about a year, almost a year and a half.
Among the state's largest law enforcement agencies, BCSO has seen the sharpest drop in meth lab investigations. The Albuquerque Police Department has handled fewer meth lab investigations too, dropping from 40 in 2010 to just 12 in 2011.
Just as things rise on the bell curve, they hit a peak and they come down.
So far this year, APD has discovered just 6 meth labs, including this one near Highland High School. That made the news about a month ago. In some ways, it just doesn't make sense. Just a few years ago, meth lab investigations were in the news all the time, and police are still arresting meth-addicted criminals every day. They break into homes, steal cars, and pull copper from homes and businesses to fuel their addiction. The point is, they're still getting meth from somewhere. So where have all the meth labs gone? According to APD and BCSO, the majority of the drug is now coming up from Mexico. And they say restrictions on the sale of ingredients used to make meth are making more of an impact now, years after those restrictions took effect. But State Police Chief Robert Schilling says there is another factor. Back in March of last year, the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency announced it would no longer reimburse state and local law enforcement agencies for meth lab cleanups because of budget cuts and a decrease of meth labs nationwide.
I think that funding issue impacted some proactive initiatives that had been ongoing in the past that were slowed down because of the concern with cleanup.
Chief Schilling says because meth lab cleanups are so expensive, the lack of federal assistance might have made some police and sheriff's departments think twice before actively hunting for meth labs.
The average clandestine lab that we encountered, I think we looked at a year's worth of data, cost between $5,000 and $8,000 to clean up.
Number of meth lab investigations involving state police has dropped to just 3 so far this year. Last year, the number was 12. Chief Schilling says the lack of federal cleanup dollars played a role in that decline.
We operate on a checkbook and a checking account just like we do at home with our family finances.
While it may have been a factor for state police, though, APD and BCSO say the lack of cleanup funds had nothing to do with the drop in their meth lab investigations.
It's not something that we would, that we would actually say, no, we're not going to look for meth labs because, it's costly or time consuming.
We had other funding available, we had other resources available, so it didn't adversely affect what we were doing.
The DEA confirms the vast majority of meth is in fact coming up from Mexico and Central America. Federal funding for meth lab cleanups just came back online, but not as much is available compared to years past.
It's a huge impact to a law enforcement budget.
State police have secured more state dollars to pay for cleanup just in case.
Reality is we've seen a decline, but they're still out there.
Tim Iestis.
And they still need to be addressed.
KRQE News 13.
Another reason for the drop in meth lab takedowns is that some meth makers have gone mobile and now operate on a smaller scale, which makes them harder to find. Plus, APD says others have switched to an easier product to sell prescription drugs.